Here we go. The stream is live and I'm making you host back.
And let me make you a co-host. All right, done.
We are recording now.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
Hi, Yvonne. Lynn. Hi, Lynn. There's Yvonne.
Hi.
She's sailing today. She's on the open waters.
Yep.
So it's coming on. Jay West, can you just give us your first name? So I'm not calling you as Jay West. We have Gail on, Kelly, there's Sue. Hello, Sue. Look at that smile.
Hi.
Hi. It's good to see you.
Thank you. I'm excited.
We have more folks who are joining us. I'll give it another minute or two. There's Gail, Kelly. Oh no, Joanne, your speaker is broken. Oh, okay. Well, Joanne, feel free to put any questions you might have into the chat today. Sorry that I'm going to go ahead and rename you anyway, if that's okay. That's renamed. There's Shirley. Hi, Shirley. Ian's joining us. We got a nice group going today. Just curious, how many folks have actually been working with Google Drive? Anyone working with Google Drive yet? Ian, a little bit. No, so Shirley's like this much, teeny bit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. How about Lynn or very little? Joanne's very little. Okay. Lynn or Kelly, have you either of you been working with Google Drive at all?
No.
No. Okay. So we got a lot of newbies here. This is great. Some folks, a lot of folks, none. And I also wanted to introduce, while I have you here, we have Max with us today from our Get Set Up support team. Yay, support! Our support team's amazing. They really are. Max is going to be helping us today. He's going to be monitoring the chat. If anybody has technical issues, please let us know. And for today, if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself, just ask away, put it into the chat, do that virtual hand raise. We're a small group, so you can raise your hand. I can, but virtual hand raise kind of alerts me to folks have a question. And we're just going to make it interactive. I love when people ask away. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll share my screen with you. this way. All righty. Okay. First of all, welcome everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Vicki, your Get Set Up guide. I'm calling in from San Jose, California. That's in Northern California. I live in the heart of Silicon Valley. Not surprisingly, I worked in high tech for 30 years. I did a number of different things, technical support, lots of technical training and instructional design. I have taught students from around the world. I've taught people who are very technical, but I've also worked with students who are just dipping their toes into this world of technology, perhaps like you. And being a guide with Get Set Up, it lets me do what I really love, and that is to educate folks about technology. So that's just a little bit about me. Today since we're a learning organization, ideally we love it if you could have your cameras turned on. I understand that not everybody is camera ready. Some folks, their cameras aren't working. Completely understand. So I leave that up to you, but it's just more fun when we have our cameras turned on. We can see each other, but if you're in the middle of eating lunch or dinner, don't worry about it. Today's class is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. Just let us know the name of the class as well as the date of the class, and support will be more than happy to get that recording out to you. We are being joined today via live stream. Welcome, TV Land. You can see everything and hear everything that we're doing today, but I always recommend that you go to our Get Set Up site and register for a class, and that way you can fully participate with us. And lastly, Get Set Up is a training organization. Our guides are not paid to promote any products or any services. We are all about the training here. We offer classes, interest groups, social hours, 7 days a week. We also are now in the US. We have classes in the UK, India, Australia, New Zealand, and we're going to be bringing Singapore on board. So we have 24/7 coverage now. And I always joke with folks in my classes that if you're an insomniac and you're up walking around at 2 in the morning, just log on to Get Set Up, and we'll have something going on there for you to take. If you've been taking more classes with us and you're really enjoying what you've been taking, if you're interested in hosting an interest group or maybe a social hour, if there's something that you're passionate about and want to share with others, please let us know. Reach out to us and let us know about your interest. Also, after class today, I'm going to be sending you after class notes. You'll be getting an email from me, and there's also a feedback button there. And I always strongly suggest you use that feedback button to let us know what other classes you would like us to see us putting out there, other classes you would like scheduled more frequently, longer classes, shorter classes. Let us know what you're interested in, because that's how we make things better. We listen to you. You may have noticed we've updated our website over the past month or so. And when you sign up for a class, when you register for a class, you now have the ability to share this information with others. You can tell friends about the class. Oops, Max, can I ask you to mute everyone? Thanks so much. We have a little bit of background noise there, folks. So you can now click on a button just to share this information, tell others about the class. If you're on social media, you can share it on Facebook and so on. So yeah, please do that. We love it when people can share the learning. What are we going to talk about today? First of all, I want to start off by talking a little bit about cloud storage in terms, because this is what Google Drive is. It's about cloud storage. Let's talk a little bit about Google's Drive and components. What can you do? just mute everyone here. And folks, if I could ask you just to stay, keep your microphones muted. And if you have a question, then just unmute. We just have a lot of background noise today. Thank you. We're going to talk a little bit about Google Drive components. How do you navigate? And then how do you use some of the basic features and functions? Talk a little bit about sharing files and folders. And I'm also going to mention syncing, file syncing. And again, if you have any questions, please stop me. I have an idea. Most of us are newbies here, which is great, a great opportunity to learn. I wanted to start off by talking about cloud storage. So to make sure we're all on the same page. So when we talk about cloud storage, really what you're doing is you're taking your data, you're moving it off of your device, if you're on a PC or a laptop or a MacBook, and you're storing your data on a secure provider's server on the internet, really. That's what cloud storage is. Now, it's secure. You're the only one who can get to that data using your login credentials. So you want to make sure that you have a good password. But by moving your data into what we call the cloud, what you're doing again is you're moving it off of your device and you're freeing up space on your device by putting it onto the cloud or the internet. That's really what's going on here. Now, there are a number of different providers. These are some of the larger providers, more well-known providers that we've shown you on the lower right-hand corner of this slide. iCloud, that's Apple's cloud storage application. So if you're using iPads, iPhones, and so on, MacBooks, you can use the iCloud storage application. OneDrive, that is Microsoft's cloud storage application. Dropbox is another well-known cloud storage application that's been around for quite some time. And then there's Google Drive. This is Google's cloud storage app. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And let me know, does anybody have any questions about cloud storage, what this really means? We're all good about that? Okay, just stop me, because I wanted to start there because really that's what Google Drive is about. So just quickly, some benefits of using cloud storage. Well, obviously it's saves storage space on your device when you move more files up to the cloud, but also it enables you to share and collaborate. So I'm going to show you with Google Drive, as well as other cloud storage providers, but today we're going to focus on how you can share and collaborate. You can share files on your Google Drive with others and they can collaborate on those files. But you can do this with any of the cloud storage providers' applications. Another big benefit of using cloud storage is that you have access to your data at any time. So by moving files up to the cloud, you can access them from any device because they're no longer sitting on your hard drive, if you will. So smartphones, tablets, PCs, laptops, you can always have access to your data. And that data, because it's accessible, if something happens to one of your devices, nothing is going to happen to those files. They're still held up there on the cloud. And almost all of these cloud storage applications, they typically have the same features, obviously storage. You can do file transfer. You can transfer files from your device up to the cloud, download files from the cloud to your device, share file sharing and so on. And we'll cover that today. So just some benefits of using cloud storage. Let's get into Google Drive. So when you get your Google account, remember it's a free account, by default, you get a Google Drive. So it's associated with your account. You have 15 gigabytes of free storage capacity that comes with your Google account. And by the way, that storage capacity, for those of you who are using Gmail, Not only does that 15 gigabytes cover the files that you're holding in your Google Drive, but it also covers the Gmail as well. So just something to be aware of. And remember, your Google Drive, it's your own personal storage area in the Google Cloud. So that's just for you, and you're the only one who can access your files on your Google Drive unless you share those files with others. So let me know if you have any questions so far. How do you access your Google Drive? Now today, I'm working off of my laptop, so I'm going to use a browser to get to my Google Drive. But just know that if you're using a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone, you will be downloading the Google Drive app, and you can do that from the App Store if you're on, an iPad or a smartphone, or if you're on an Android device, you can go to Google's Play Store and download the Drive there if you need to, the Google Drive app. But today I'm going to be working off of my web browser. And what I wanted to do is show you, let me just bring that web browser right in here. And let me demonstrate how you can access your Google Drive. Let's just resize this one. So I've gone to google.com on my web browser. Different ways that you can access your Google Drive. First of all, I'm going to sign in to my Google account. And I have a number of different Google test accounts here. Let's see if it's going to ask me to. Let's log in. And I can either click on that little waffle icon over here in the upper right-hand corner, and I can select Google Drive. That's one way. Or you can simply go on your browser. You can always type out drive.google.com. Your choice. Either way will work. It will always get you when you click on the waffle icon and select the Google Drive icon or app, it will always bring you to your Google Drive. And again, if you're working off of a mobile device, you'll obviously just open up your Google Drive app and you will also get to your Google Drive. Now, on mobile devices, the concepts that I'm talking about today, they're all the same. You will just access your menus a little bit differently. And what I'll be doing in our after class notes today, I'll be including a document that has screenshots showing you how you're going to access your different menus on Google Drive when you're working off of the app versus the browser version today. So just wanted to put that out there. And when you first open up your Google Drive, I've been working on this Google Drive for a while. So under this quick access area here, you'll see that there are some files. Now, when you first open up your Google Drive, if you haven't worked on it before, you won't have anything in quick access, because as you start working with files and folders, this quick access, Google gets to know what you've been working on and will start to offer up files that it thinks you might want to work on. And so it will start recognizing, those files and folders you've been working with, and that's what you see in the quick access. Down at the bottom here, I've created some personal folders, and you'll be able to just, double clicking, open up a folder. Those are the files that I have. If I just click on my drive, I'm back here at the home page of the dashboard, if you will. On the left-hand side here, what we're seeing, oops, my battery's running low. Hang on. Let me, sorry about that. I have to plug in. Let me just do this for a minute.
Are we back? Can you guys see me? Sorry, I have to
Things in. Oh, always something.
Sorry about that. Can you guys see me again?
I see your screen.
You see my
And then,
screen,
yes,
okay.
and then your picture, but not the live
Right.
view, but your picture
Not
is
the
there in
live
the
view.
corner.
Okay. Sorry about that. I had
No worries.
to, it's always something, I tell you. Okay. Let's go ahead. And as I was saying, so as long as you can see my screen, that's the important thing. What we're seeing here on the left-hand side, those are the system generated folders that come with your Google Drive. And Lynn, sorry, did you have a question? You'll have to unmute yourself.
Hi, yes. When I go and open Google Drive, I don't see all this stuff. I mean, I don't have hardly anything in there. Would that be why?
Yes. So you won't be seeing anything down here.
I don't really see any. I mean, when I open it up, all I see is two files that I have in there, but that's it.
Do you have on the left-hand side, the navigation side? Do you
No,
see,
I don't have any of
what
that.
device are you on?
Well, I'm on my tablet.
Oh, that's why. Remember, I'm on a laptop, so my menus are going to be a little bit different. But yeah, but I'm going to give you screenshots of what it's going to look like. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
And then but what I'm covering today, you're going to recognize everything. You'd be like, oh, I see.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. The other thing, so let's just go ahead and
talk about this left-hand camera. Let me just change can everybody still hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Yep.
It's moving things around. So on my left-hand side, the navigation panel, let's talk a little bit about this. So there's My Drive, and that is your Google Drive. I happen to have a number of personal folders that I've created under my Google Drive. And also on the left here, these are these other additional computer system generated folders shared with me, recent, starred, and trashed. And we're going to go over each one of these. But I just wanted to give you a layout, if you will, lay of the land, so that you can just understand a little bit better, at least on the PC, what is going on here. All right, let's start to talk a little bit about how we're going to use Google Drive. And I am just, we talked about the drive layout, files and folders area. Oh, and before I forget, let's talk a little bit about how you change your view. For those of you who are interested, on the PC, on my laptop, I'm going up here and you'll see that there's this little grid icon where I'm circling around my purple pointer. If I click on that, it changes my view. So let me just click on it again. I'm going to open up one of my folders. And when you change that view, when you click on that grid icon, it switches it from into this, what we call preview mode. So you can actually start to have a preview of what the files in a folder look like. If I go back and click on this, I'm now in what's called list view, and it's just listing out the different files and the file types. So again, it's just a toggle to toggle in between grid view and list view. Your choice, however you like to work with this. I also want to just talk a little bit about what I call working with folders 101, because for people who are really new to working with Google or any other type of electronic folder organizer, I want you to get a visual, if you will. So if this is the first time you're doing this type, you're working with this type of application, we all know and love our little filing cabinets. So maybe if you could think of this, your Google Drive is a filing cabinet. When you open it up, and here's your drawer, there are different folders. We all remember the good old manila folders. So your drive has different folders in it. And when you open up a folder, you may have different documents, maybe they're spreadsheets, they're letters, presentations. That's what I'm trying to display here, what I'm trying to show on the right-hand side. So this is, our filing cabinet that we love and know. And on the right-hand side, my drive would be, the drawer, if you will, the cabinet drawer. And then all of these different folders, bike races, finances, skiing, these are going to relate to the folders, if you will. And when you open up these individual folders, you will find individual files, but that would be, printouts of spreadsheets, invoices, letters, and so on. So I just wanted to give people a little visual for that.
How do you make a new folder?
I'm going to show you. That's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to go, as we start working with different features, I'm going to talk about these system generated folders. But first, what I wanted to do is show you, how do you start creating folders? How do you upload files to your Google Drive? So I'm going to go back, and I'm sitting on my Google Drive now. If I click on this new button, there is a menu that drops down. Again, we're working on the PC version, and you'll see I have different options on this new menu. I can create a new folder, which we'll do in just a moment. I can upload files, and I can upload entire folders. So for example, if I were to click on folder, what it enables me to do is create a brand new folder. And we'll give it a very fascinating name of Wednesday folder. This is what happens when you're not creative. Here is my Wednesday folder all the way down at the bottom. If I double click to open up this folder, it's empty right now. I can start to upload files here or even create files. So if I come back over and I click on this new button, I have the option to upload files and folders. And this is, you're uploading them from your device, your PC or your laptop. If I click on File Upload, what it's going to do is it's going to bring me to my C drive, my hard drive on my particular folder, on my particular PC. And I can simply select one or multiple files, click on Open. And what it's doing is it's uploading those files from my PC to my Google Drive, in this case, the Wednesday folder. Now, let me explain what's happening here because people can sometimes get confused. When we upload files and folders, we are simply making a copy from your device's hard drive, and uploading that copy to your Google Drive. We're not deleting anything on your device. We're simply making a copy and moving those copies up and uploading them to your Google Drive. Does anybody have any questions about that? Because I know people get very nervous. They're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to delete things. I don't want to do that. And what's
I did have a question. Is there a way to upload an email document? Do you first have to save it on your computer so that you can then upload it into Drive? Or
there are actually ways to move emails into your Google folder, and I will go ahead and add that to after class notes.
Okay, thank you.
Let me just make a note of that.
I have a question. Is that another way of syncing your files from one gadget to another?
Actually, what you can do, what we'll talk about is how you can synchronize your files from your Google Drive with files with your actual device, your PC hard drive. So when we talk about synchronizing files, when you're working off of a tablet or a smartphone, if you have Google Drive downloaded there, what you'll be able to do is actually work, you'll always have access to these files, no matter what device you're on. So when you work directly on the Google Drive, whether it's from your tablet, your smartphone, or even your laptop, you're working off of those files on your Google Drive. If you're on a laptop or a MacBook, a PC, if you decide, you can also set up file syncing. Google has their own file sync option, desktop option. You can work both on files on your hard drive, and then when you do that, any changes you make are automatically synced up to your Google Drive. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail, but that's really what we mean by file syncing. So yeah, great question. So hold on to that. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, I promise. So I've uploaded my 2 files, and I did it to my Wednesday folder. Now, let's be a little bit specific here. By selecting my Wednesday folder and starting from here, when I click on my new button and I select File Upload, any files that I select to upload will be uploaded to this Wednesday folder because that's where I started from. If I were sitting on my drive, that's sort of like at the very top, if you will, of the hierarchy of your Google Drive, if I click on New and then select File Upload, if I were to, I'll just pick any file, I don't even know what it is. If I were to upload this particular file here, it's then going to be sitting directly under my drive because I didn't specify a folder. I just started on my drive, and any files or folders that I upload will be directly under my drive. I'm hoping that's not too confusing. Let me know if you need me to repeat that. Anybody have any questions about that? Nope, we're good. Okay. You can also, when I click on the new button, you can also upload a folder. And I'll just upload, I have some screenshots here. Let me just upload that. And what I'm doing is I'm going to say, yes, I want to upload them. I have 4 files in this folder. And there's my screenshots folder right there. So you can upload files as well as folders from your hard drive. Okay. Can you create a new folder on the iPad, Joanne? Yes, you can. And when I send out those screenshots to you, you'll see where you access the menus, but it's the same thing. You'll also be just clicking on new and selecting folder. Yeah, you sure can. Everything I'm talking about today, you can do on the iPad. Great question. Any other questions so far about what we've been doing? All right, I'm going to go back and open up my Wednesday folder because in addition to uploading files and folders, creating new folders, you can also start creating new documents, new folders from within Google Drive. And to do that, I click on the new button. And then you'll notice down at the bottom of this menu, I have Google Docs, Google Sheets, Slides, and so on. If I were to select, let's just say Google Docs, if I just hover over this little greater than symbol, if you will, this arrow that's pointing to the right, another submenu drops down and says, well, do you want to create a new Google Doc from a blank document or using a template? If I select blank document, what it does is it opens up the Google Docs app. It's opening up in another tab here. I can then start creating my document, my test document for Wednesday's class. I can name it, and I'll just say Wednesday, wed. And then I've created a new document. I'm sitting in Google Docs actually right now. If I close this tab, and remember I'm on a browser, so I'm using the browser functions. If I close this tab, what I'm actually doing is I'm closing out of Google Docs. I am back on my Google Drive here. And here's my Wednesday document, the one I just created. So what I'm showing you is how you can click on this new button and you have the same functionality on your iPad. You can then select one of the Google apps to start creating your document right from Google Docs, excuse me, right from your Google Drive. And Mara has a question. Yes, you can upload a folder that has photos into your Google Drive. You can store text documents, photos, videos. You can just about anything on your Google Drive. Would it be easier than uploading them one by one to photos? Not sure if you can do this. So this is really going to be your call. You can store your photos in Google Drive. You can use the Photos, Google's Photos app to store your photos. You can organize them into albums and share them. It's really what you prefer, what you feel more comfortable doing. You can share those photos as well from within Google Drive. So Mara, it's really up to you, what you prefer using, but you can do either one. All right. Any questions about how you can create a new document from within Google Drive? Simply by clicking on that new button and then selecting a Google app to work with. And when you hover over this little arrow that's pointing here, you can select a blank spreadsheet or from a template. So just nice to know. All right, a few other things I wanted to show you what you can do when you're in the Google Drive. So let's talk about working on individual files. Let's go with that first. So I have my Wednesday document here. On the PC, if I right click on a document, and the same thing works with a folder. If you right click on a folder, there is a menu that drops down with some additional features. And let's take a look at some of these. So let's say I wanted to make a copy of my Wednesday document. I would simply click on Make Copy. It's going to create a copy of my Wednesday document. If I right click on the file, I get this drop down menu. I can click on Rename to rename my file. I'll just do, I don't know, miscellaneous file of no importance. There we go. And now I've gone ahead and I've renamed the file. Again, right clicking on a file brings up this menu. We've made a copy, we renamed it. I can also do something called Add It to Starred. When I do that, you'll notice there's a little star that shows up here. It's like flagging it as a favorite. So if you have certain files that are important to you, maybe you're working with them, you want to make it easy to find, when you star it, like I just showed you, right clicking, selecting add to starred, when you come over here to the navigation panel on the left, if you click on this starred file over, folder over here, this is where you will see all of the files that have been flagged as starred. And here's my miscellaneous file of no importance. It makes it very easy. It's like a shortcut, makes it easy to find, to locate and access files that are important to you. Because remember, as you start working with Google Drive, you're going to be uploading files and folders. Things are going to start to get busy. I just have a few folders here. You might want to remember to star certain files that are really important to you, because then you can access them very quickly rather than having to just sort of hunt through your folders. You can always search for a file over here using Google's search option. And for example, if I were to type out the word ski, what that's going to do is Google will search through all of my files and folders. It will find anything, file or folder with the word ski in the name, or it will look inside the file into the contents and locate the word ski and search for anything that has the word ski within the file contents itself. So that's really nice to use the search feature. All right, let's go back up to my Wednesday folder, and I'm simply clicking over here on the left on my Wednesday folder. You can also move files around. So if I wanted to move this Wednesday document into another folder, one of the easiest ways to do this is sort of click on that file and then just move it, drag it and move it and highlight the folder and then release that. And now what I've done is I've moved my Wednesday document into grandparents. Another way to move your file is if you right mouse click on the file and you get that drop down menu again, you can select move to, and then what it will do is bring you to this next screen. I'm going to click on the left arrow button over there to get to all of my folders on Google Drive. I can then select, go back to my Wednesday folder, click on move. And then if I click on my Wednesday folder on my navigation panel over here, there it is, I've moved it back. And so what I encourage you to do is, if you have a Google account, if you don't have one, register for a free Google account. Go to your Google Drive, or you may have to download the app on your device, and start, work with this new button. Start creating folders. Start uploading folders from your device. And then just start, playing around, right click or, tap on a file and start, playing around with these different options. Now, the other thing that you can do is I'm going to delete my Wednesday document simply by coming down here and clicking on remove. And so it's moved it to the trash. And this is a good time for us to talk about the trash folder. So I'm coming over here on my left-hand navigation panel. I'm going to click on the trash folder, and it's one of those system generated folders. And I've been deleting a lot of things here, but I want to point out some important things to know about. You'll see here it says items in the trash are deleted forever after 30 days. So if you deleted something mistakenly, you can always restore it within this 30 days. After 30 days, it's deleted forever. So for example, if I wanted to search here, let's just search on Wednesday document. Wednesday folder, Wednesday document. Whoops. Let's do my Wednesday document. Let's do that. So that's opened it up. Let me go back. I'm just going to search for it here. It's easier. Let's see. Here's my Wednesday document. I should have scrolled all the way down to the bottom. It's much easier this way. If I right click, and remember, I'm in my trash folder. If I right click on a document or a folder, I can restore this file or folder. It will put it back into my Wednesday folder, or I can delete it forever. So let's talk about saving space. When you're working with your Google Drive and you're deleting files, after a while, you're going to start to use up more and more storage. I barely have any files in this particular Google Drive on this test account. But when I start loading more files, you're going to see there's a nice visual here. There's this blue bar that's going to show up here. And as you add more and more content to your drive, as you add more files, you will see how much storage is being used up. So it's a nice visual. If you're finding that you're getting close to running out of storage, there are a few things you can do. First of all, I'll show you what it looks like to buy storage, but you can come into your trash, and instead of waiting for 30 days for this to empty out some of your files, you can empty your trash, which means it deletes everything forever. You can select different files and folders to delete forever. If you don't want to delete everything, you can be more specific. And that's how you can start freeing up some space if you find that you're running close to your limit. But remember, it will delete it forever. It's gone bye-bye. You can't get back to it. You can't get it back. If you're worried about running out of storage, what I always say to folks, buying storage is cheap. So if I click on this Buy Storage button over here underneath my storage folder, these are the different options. So this is your free 15 gigabytes. For $2 a month, you can get an extra 100 gigabytes of storage. For $3 a month, you can buy an extra 200 gigabytes of storage. And if you're really going large and you're going to be uploading maybe lots of videos, things like that, for $10 a month, you can buy 2 terabytes of storage. That's a lot. And so these are options if you're getting nervous about running out of storage space. It's really not very expensive. But just know that when you're starting to load files up to your Google Drive, be aware that different file types take up different file space, different storage space. So typically like text documents, things like that, they don't take up nearly as much space as videos and large image files. So just something to be aware of. Anybody have any questions so far about restoring things from the trash or deleting it permanently, deleting files? We're good? Okay. You guys are just rocking and rolling. A few other things I just wanted to talk about here. We talked about trash, we talked about starred. When we select recent, what this will do is bring up the most recent files that you've been working with, a nice shortcut to work with. So if you've been working on some project files for the past few days, you can always click on recent and they'll be right here, because they're the most recent files that you've opened. So just a nice shortcut to know about. A few other things to talk about. Sharing. Let's talk a little bit about how you can share files. So by default, any file that you create, upload, they're private. Those files are private. No one else can access them unless you share files and folders with others. So what I'll do is let's take our miscellaneous file of no importance. which I've starred. If I, and again, I'm on a laptop, so if I right click on my mouse, one of the options here is to share. If I click on share, and by the way, any Google app that you're working with, you'll be able to access this same share menu, this dialog box, just the way that I've done it. Share with people and groups. So again, this is a file I'm sharing with. I can start typing in people's email addresses. Maybe I'm going to share this with some family members. I can share it with people who have Hotmail addresses. And when you're sharing a file or a folder, you need to decide what permissions you're going to give to your collaborators. Editor is selected by default. That means that they can open a particular file, they can add content, they can delete content, they can do anything. Commenter means that they're just going to be able to add comments. Viewer means that they'll just be able to view the file. So I'll keep it as edit. What's really nice is that you can send this as an email to folks. Hi, please view and make edits. You can send this as an email. People will receive it via email and be able to open the file as long as they have a Gmail account and then make it, excuse me, a Google account, and then they can make edits. And I'm going to click on send. And you can do this same sharing, by the way, if you're with folders. So if I were to share my bike race folder, then what this is going to do is anybody that I share it with will be able to gain access to my bike races folder. They can add content to it. They can add files. They can download files and folders. For example, they could come into bike race. They could download a file if you gave them full access to the folder. Anybody have any questions about sharing files or folders from within Google Drive? I know I'm sort of, going 800 miles an hour with this. There's a lot here.
What is the get link function?
Okay. Let me go into it's. What you can do is get a link, and let me start. It's this. Let's start from. I'm going to right click on a file. I'm going to select share, and this get link you can get to from the share screen as well. So there's two different ways of sharing a file, and this is a great question. Thanks for asking this. You can come up here and start specifying people's email addresses. And what we are assuming is they will have a Google account and they'll be able to open up the file. In this case, it's a PDF, but if this were like a Google Doc, so you can share it that way. The other way, let's get back, let me just, I'm going to discard this. Let me right click again, select share. The other option you have is this get link. So if you copy a link, what you're doing is you're copying the link to the actual file on the internet because it's online. And then you can take that link and you can paste it into an email, which means that people who don't have Google accounts can view it. You can also paste that link on a website, and anybody who lands on your website can open up the link and view it. You can paste the link into a file, blog. Yeah, it's just another way of sharing that file. And when you, right now it's restricted, so only in this case, Royce can view it. But if I change that to anyone with the link can view this, you can then be more specific and say, well, let's say I were to post this on my website. When people click on this link, can they view it? Can they make a comment on it? or can they actually edit the file? So it really is another way of sharing your file, and it's very useful if you need to share this file, at least if people need to view it and they don't have a Google account. So I hope that answered that question. And once people start sharing files with you, in the left-hand side, your navigation panel, if you select Shared with Me, this is where you're going to see you be able to access those files. So not only will you receive an email saying, you know, you've been asked to edit, you have a file that's being shared with you, you've been asked to edit or comment on it. It also moves it into you'll be able to access those files under the Shared with Me folder for any file that's been shared with you. So that's important to know about there. So that is just a quick and dirty information about sharing. And let me know if you have any other questions. Let's talk, we talked about the basic, okay, sharing. Let's finish off by talking about syncing your files. So what does syncing mean for those of you who are not familiar with this term? So when you're using Google Drive, if you have a device like a PC or laptop, MacBook that, you know, maintains files on the actual hard drive, the device's hard drive, you have the option to turn on Google's backup and sync tool. And what that will allow you to do is not only upload files to your Google Drive in the cloud, but also you can work on those same files on your PC, on your MacBook or laptop. And any changes you make either in the cloud or working off of your device, those changes will always be synced up so that you always have the same version of the file on both your Google Drive as well as your device. So remember, if you make it, let's say you're working on a file in the Google Cloud on your phone, maybe you have Google Drive located on your phone. If you delete a file on your phone, it will delete it from your Google Drive, but it will also delete it from your device, your hard drive, let's say on your PC or your laptop. So that's what syncing files will do for you. It syncs everything up should you choose to do that. So it's another step. By default, when you sign up for your Google account, you get your Google Drive, you just have your files in your Google Drive in the cloud. You will need to activate the backup and sync tool in order to be able to do this syncing so that you can work on files either from and or from your hard drive, from your laptop PC, as well as directly on your Google Drive.
Where do you get the backup and sync file tool?
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
So I'm on the laptop, I'm on the browser version. So if I click on this gear over here, this is where you can get backup and sync for Windows. And I'm not going to go into that because we're just about, at our time here. So I don't have time to show you what that's like. But just know that when you do, when you select get backup and sync for Windows, and this is because I'm on a Windows machine, when you do this, when you implement this, you have the ability to customize, to select which folders and files you wish to sync. So it doesn't have to be everything on your hard drive, because you need to be careful about that if you're going to turn this on. Because if you say, oh, I just want to sync everything on my hard drive, depending upon the size of the files on your hard drive, remember, for a free account, you only have 15 gigabytes of storage space. If you have more than 15 gigabytes that you're uploading or you're syncing from your hard drive, you're going to run out of storage space. You're going to be forced to buy additional storage space. So just be aware. What I would do is if you're going to get the backup and sync for Windows, just be really specific. Start with just a few folders and see how much storage space that's starting to take up for you. Okay. Any other questions? We're almost at our hour. I tell you that this time just flies. Anything else I can answer? And again, for those folks who are on iPads, who are on tablets today, you know, I will send you screenshots, and everything we've done today, you'll be able to do. The menus are just accessed a little bit differently, that's all. But thanks for being patient, sorry about that.
I did a class on Google Docs a couple of days ago, and when fiddling around with it, suddenly I had access to all the photos in my phone, but those photos aren't on Google Drive.
Did you use your Google Photos app? Is that what you did maybe?
I don't know, maybe. I've never used it before. I guess I'll have to see if that's what I did.
Yeah, because with you can synchronize your Google Photos using the Google Photos app with your phone, your different devices, and that's why all of a sudden you'll see them. You would actually need to either use that backup and sync tool, or you would have to manually upload them to your Google Drive to do this. Yeah. And oh, Joanne, no, I don't need your email address. We have everyone's email addresses. So when I send you after class notes, don't worry, we have you in the system, but great question. One other thing that I just wanted to go through with folks, I'm going to hop on to the Get Set Up site. Let me just go to my home. And for those of you who are interested in taking other, in this case, let's talk about Google classes. What you can do is when you get to this Google site over here, this Get Set Up website, you can search, for example, Google, and it will show you a list of all the different Google classes that we offer. There's lots of them out there. So if you're interested in learning about other Google Docs other than Google Drive, go onto our website, just type out Google, and you'll see the entire listing of all the different Google classes that we teach. There's lots of them. And again, get onto your Google account, get onto your Google Drive, and just start practicing what I went over today. Unfortunately, if you haven't been able to walk through it with me and you've just been taking notes, that's great, but don't forget to practice. Just a quick takeaway from today's session. Remember, the Google Drive, it's cloud storage, so it's storing all of your files in the cloud. Any file that you created with your Google Drive, with your Google Apps, they're going to be stored in your Google Drive. So if you've opened up Google Docs, created a document, you're going to find it in your Google Drive. Just know that you have all those options to copy, move, delete, rename files and folders. And you can also upload and download files and folders from your device. And don't forget about sharing. That's a really powerful feature of the Google Apps. You can be sharing files and folders with others, but as the owner of the file or the folder, you determine what permissions you're going to give others, give your other collaborators. So just a few of the highlights from today's class. And I want to thank you folks so much for joining me today. I loved your questions. We talked about there are lots of other Google classes that you can take. I'm going to be I teach the Dropbox Cloud Basics class, and we'll be teaching a new offering, Understanding Google Contacts, our contact management system. Other than that, just thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to stop my sharing. If anybody has any additional questions, I'll be happy to stay on after class and answer them for you. Otherwise,
Thanks, Vicki.
have a great rest of your Wednesday.
Thank you so much. I learned a lot.
And I I had turned my video off, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to see my gorgeous face.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Sorry for the little snafu there. I had to do a little switcheroo with my plug. So what are you going to do? It happens.
Well, we love that, because if you were too perfect, we wouldn't have all our, then we wouldn't feel like we'd want to ask our questions and everything. So
Okay.
that's actually very helpful.
It happens to the best of us. What
It
can I
all
say?
is, and right, that's for sure. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for
That's
hanging in
great.
there. Okay. Take care, everyone. Hope to see
Bye.
you in other classes. Bye.
How do we receive the help sheet that you're going to send us?
Oh, we will automatically email that to you,
Thank
Ruth.
you.
Don't worry. We have all the information we need.
Perfect. Thanks so much.
You're
Thanks-
welcome.
Thanks for the class. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Max, thanks for your help today.